Kai Nakamura had exactly 47 seconds of consciousness before everything went to hell. The lights flickered once in the engineering bay of the space station Prometheus, then died. Emergency klaxons screamed their apocalyptic song as Kai's neural implant flooded his vision with warnings. Hull breach, cascade failure, life support compromised. 37 seconds, he whispered, grabbing his emergency kit and sprinting toward the escape pods. Each footstep echoed through corridors that had been humanity's home for 3 years, orbiting the uncharted planet Kythera. The explosion, when it came, wasn't like the movies. There was no dramatic fireball in space, just a silent eruption that tore the station apart like tissue paper. Kai felt the shockwave through the metal beneath his feet, watched sections of hull peel away like orange skin through a porthole. His escape pod launched automatically, but the debris cloud had already begun its deadly dance. A piece of twisted metal the size of a ground car punched through the pod's forward compartment. Alarms screamed as oxygen hissed into the void. 47 seconds of consciousness. That's all he managed before the emergency sedatives kicked in, designed to preserve oxygen by slowing his metabolism. As darkness claimed him, Kai's last thought was statistical. At current burn rate, he had maybe 6 hours before asphyxiation. His unconscious mind never registered the sleek vessel that approached his tumbling pod hours later. Vex felt the vision before she saw the pod. It hit her like a solar flare, burning, impossible to ignore. In her mind's eye, she saw the human male drifting, dying. Saw something else too, ancient symbols pooling on equipment inside his damaged vessel, matching the prophecies her people had whispered for generations. "Ancestors, forgive me," she murmured in Genti, her hands already adjusting her scout ship's trajectory. The isolation protocols were absolute. Her people had observed these humans from the shadows for decades, never interfering, never revealing themselves. But the vision... Her ship's tentacle-like manipulator arms extended, electromagnetic fields cradling the human pod. Through her ship's sensors, she detected one life sign: weak, fatting fast. Her tri-chambered heart quickened as guilt and excitement warred within her. Vex had trained as an observer, not a rescuer. Her iridescent skin shifted to nervous purple hues as she guided the pod into her cargo bay. This act alone would exile her from Genti space, if her matriarch discovered. The human appeared on her medical scanner, tall by her standards, dark skin marked with the mechanical interface scars common to their engineers. His vital signs were critical. Without intervention, her vision showed only death. Her decision surprised even herself. With practiced efficiency, she initiated atmospheric lock and engaged emergency medical protocols. Her people's healing chambers were biochemically compatible with humans. Another secret observation had provided that data. As the human, Kai, her scanner identified from his pod's registry, materialized inside the medical chamber, Vex felt a tremor in her core. This wasn't just about the prophecy. Something about his peaceful face, even unconscious, stirred feelings the matriarch had warned against. His eyelids fluttered. For a moment, Vex panicked. First contact protocols, there were none. Her people had never planned for this. But when Kai's eyes opened, deep brown, confused, alive, and met her multifaceted gaze, something clicked into place, like fragments of a vision suddenly becoming clear. "Hello," she attempted in human standard, her translator struggling with vocal cords not meant for their sounds. Kai blinked, trying to focus. "Am I dead?" "No," Vex replied, her skin shifting to truth blue. "But perhaps we are both about to be." The healing chamber's neural interface buzzed as it established connection with Kai's brain. His eyes widened when alien concepts suddenly flooded his mind. Not words, but pure meaning. Understanding. "You're understanding me." Vex's surprise colored her skin deep violet. "Your technology," Kai sat up, marveling. "It's like a universal translator, but for thoughts. Incredible." "We've been monitoring your species' advancement," Vex admitted, her skin betraying embarrassment with coral blushes. "Your innovation is remarkable." Kai studied her properly now. Perhaps a head shorter than him, with skin that shimmered like oil on water, shifting colors with her emotions. Her features were humanoid but refined, larger eyes with multiple irises, a face that managed to be both alien and achingly beautiful. "Why did you save me?" he asked, noticing how her tentacle-like fingers nervously wrapped around themselves. I had a vision. Your escape pod contains something important. She hesitated. Something that connects to our oldest prophecy. Prophecy. Eat first, recover, then I'll show you. The food, some kind of protein synthesis that tasted like the best meal Kai had never imagined, became an exercise in fascination. Vex watched him eat with scientific intensity, her eyes tracking every movement. When he caught her starring, her skin bloomed with what he now recognized as embarrassment. Sorry, she murmured. We've never seen a human so close. Feel free to stare, Kai said, surprising himself with the flirtation. I'm certainly staring at you. Her skin flushed a deep rose. That's highly irregular. Everything about this situation is irregular. He leaned forward, causing her to tense. You risked everything to save me. Why really? Vex's skin cycled through uncertain purples and greens. In my vision, I saw you activate something, a device. It changed everything for both our peoples. And she looked away, and I saw us together. It was why the prophecy warned against isolation. We were never meant to be separate. The air between them charged. Kai reached across the small table, his fingertips barely brushing her hand. Her skin went nova bright, a sunburst of color. Vex, he said softly. My real name is Vex Thoralin, she whispered. In my language, it means bridge between worlds. Mine's just Kai, but with you. He turned her hand over, marveling at the impossibility of holding it. I feel like more than just myself. She shivered, a full-body response that sent ripples of color across her skin. This is forbidden. Our matriarch says emotional attachment to other species leads to madness. Maybe, Kai agreed, thumb tracing patterns on her palm. Or maybe madness is exactly what our species need. When she leaned into his touch, her skin went warm gold, what he instinctively knew meant desire. The moment stretched, heavy with possibility, until an alarm pierced the air. Pursuit ships, Vex gasped, jerking back. My people have found us. And that, Kai said grimly, looking at the tactical display, is a human recovery vessel. Looks like we've both made enemies. The artifact, Vex said urgently. I need to show you what I found in your pod, now. As they rushed to the cargo bay, Kai couldn't ignore how their fingers had remained intertwined, or how her touch made his skin tingle with electric possibility. Whatever was happening between them, it felt as inevitable as the stars themselves. And just as dangerous. In the cargo bay, Vex led Kai to his salvaged escape pod. Amidst the twisted metal and emergency equipment, she'd carefully extracted a crystalline object that pulsed with internal light. This, she said, holding it between them, is what I saw in my vision. I've never seen it before, Kai frowned, studying the artifact, but it feels familiar somehow. Look closer, touch it with me. Their hands met on the crystal's surface. Immediately, reality shifted. They stood in a vast chamber filled with star charts and biological schematics. Around them, figures moved, some clearly human ancestors, others unmistakably Genti. They worked together, laughed together, created together. The first confluence, Vex breathed, before our peoples forgot each other. The vision shifted. They saw the split, some kind of dark time when mistrust divided the species, forced them to opposite corners of the galaxy. Then forward again, destruction, war, emptiness. Unless, the final vision showed two figures activating the device together. One human, one Genti. The moment their joined energy touched the artifact, understanding bloomed between their peoples. Peace, progress, unity. When reality snapped back, Kai and Vex still held the crystal and each other. They were pressed close, sharing the same breath, heartbeats synchronized. Kai, Vex whispered, I know. The space between them dissolved. Her lips were softer than expected, tasting of starlight and foreign spices. When she responded, deepening the kiss, her skin blazed with colors he'd never seen, aurora patterns that spoke of desire in her visual language. He pressed her against the pod's hull, reveling in how she fit against him despite their differences. Her hands tangled in his hair while his mapped the constellation of sensitive spots along her neck that made her gasp his name. This is dangerous, she murmured against his throat. Everything about you is dangerous. His hands found the fastenings of her environmental suit. I'm beginning to like dangerous. She laughed, helping him, her skin shifting to molten gold. My people don't exactly do this the same way. Show me. What followed was awkward, sweet, and electric all at once. Every touch sent new colors cascading across her skin, creating a light show that reflected off the metal surfaces around them. When skin finally met skin, they both froze at the sensation, so different, so unexpectedly perfect. Kai, her voice was strangled. The artifact is reacting. The crystal pulsed brighter with each caress, each shared breath. Their combined touch was awakening something ancient within it. Later, he growled against her neck. Let's focus on awakening something else first. She laughed, then gasped as he found that spot just behind her primary shoulder ridge that made her entire body shimmer like a solar flare. Her own explorations were driving him to distraction, her tentacle-like fingers capable of movements no human could replicate. When the alarm started again, louder, more insistent, they were tangled together on the floor, the artifact glowing like a beacon between them. Both our ships are closing in, Vex panted, her skin still cycling through afterglow colors. Let them come, Kai said, pulling her close for another kiss. We just proved the artifact works, our quantum signatures combined. I felt it activate. Then we're running out of time to figure out what happens next. As they hastily dressed, Kai caught her hand. Vex, whatever happens. I know, she smiled, her skin briefly shifting to sunset gold. Bridge between worlds, remember, this is what I was born for. Looking at her brilliant, brave, beautiful in ways both alien and achingly familiar, Kai knew she was right. They were meant to be a bridge. Now they just had to survive long enough to build it. Warning shots, Vex muttered, checking her ship's shields as energy blasts scorched space around them. My people don't use warning shots. Neither do mine, Kai said from the co-pilot's seat, rapidly learning Genti controls to help her navigate. Which means both ships want us alive. Question is why. Another volley of fire, carefully calculated to disable, not destroy. Vex's scout ship bucked and shuddered. Hyperdrive's damaged, she announced. We need to land for repairs. The planet below, Kai suggested. Your scans showed it habitable. Barely, and we'd be stranded until... She cut off as another impact rocked the ship. Together, Kai said firmly, reaching for her hand across the console. We do this together. Her skin flashed agreement silver. Together. The descent was controlled chaos. Vex's piloting skills kept them mostly intact as they plunged through atmosphere, but landing stripped away their last reserves. When they finally stopped, embedded in the soft earth of an alien forest, both ships were limping behind them. How long for repairs? Kai asked, already pulling maintenance tools from the cargo. 12 hours minimum, but in this environment. Vex gestured to the humid, vine-covered landscape. It'll be close work, very close. She wasn't wrong. The hyperdrive core was crammed in a maintenance crawl space barely big enough for one person. Working on it required them pressed together, bodies aligned in intimate ways. Can you reach the quantum coupling? Vex asked, her breath warm against his ear. Only if you, Kai demonstrated, sliding behind her. Their positions left no space between them. For an hour they worked in charged silence. Every movement brought friction, proximity, awareness. When Vex had to stretch to reach a component, her body molded against his. When Kai leaned over her to access the drive matrix, his chest pressed into her back. Kai, she said finally, her skin cycling through nervous purples. Yeah. Are we still pretending this is just about saving our species? He went very still. Do you want to pretend? In response, she turned within the confined space. They were nose to nose, breathing the same charged air. The pursuit ships have landed, she whispered. They'll be tracking us within hours. Then we should make this count. The first kiss was gentle, questioning. The second left no room for doubt. By the third, they were both working on removing each other's environmental suits with practiced efficiency gained from their earlier encounter. Here, she gasped as his mouth found her throat. Now, he confirmed, lifting her against the maintenance panel. The hyperdrive hummed to life around them, their intertwined energy awakening something in the machinery itself. Every touch seemed to resonate through the ship systems. The repairs, Vex moaned as he mapped new territories of her silvery skin. Are proceeding exceptionally well, he confirmed, finding that particular spot that made her skin go supernova bright. When she wrapped impossibly flexible appendages around him, drawing him closer, The ship's lights flickered in sympathy. Their joining was urgent this time, fueled by desperation and the knowledge that any moment could be their last. The simultaneous waves of release sent a pulse through every system on the ship. Lights blazed. Engines roared to life. The artifact, still in the cargo bay, sang with harmonic resonance. Did we just, Vex panted against his shoulder, fix everything by having sex? Yeah, pretty much. She laughed, the sound translated into cascading auroras across her skin. My people's relationship manuals never mentioned this technique. Maybe they left out the important chapters. He kissed her forehead. How long before our visitors arrive? Long enough, she murmured, already reaching for him again. Once more for the secondary systems. For the good of our species, he agreed solemnly. Absolutely, purely scientific. As alarms indicated pursuit ships entering the forest, their laughter mingled with the hum of perfectly functioning machinery. Sometimes the best repairs happened when you stopped overthinking and started feeling. And sometimes, just sometimes, the universe smiled back. The clearing filled with ships, human recovery vessels on one side, Genti fleet on the other. In the center, Vex and Kai stood hand in hand, the artifact raised between them. Stand down, Commander Reeves of the Endeavor barked through his exosuit speakers. Nakamura, step away from the alien. You don't know what it's done to you. Vex the Raylan, the Genti matriarch's multitonal voice carried across the field. Release the human and surrender yourself for judgment. Or, Kai said loudly, squeezing Vex's hand, you could listen to what we've discovered. Son, you've been compromised, Reeves continued. That thing's got some kind of pheromone control. The only thing controlling me, Kai interrupted, is the truth. He lifted the artifact higher. This device doesn't just bridge our species, it proves we were always meant to be together. Light exploded from the crystal, projecting holographic displays visible to all. The history they'd witnessed played out for both crowds, the ancient cooperation, the schism, the prophecy of reunion. Lies, the matriarch declared, but her voice held uncertainty. Alien manipulation, Reeves echoed. Watch, Vex said simply. She and Kai pressed their hands to the artifact simultaneously. The light intensified, and suddenly every human and Genti in the clearing experienced a shared vision, not just images but feelings, understanding, connection. When reality returned, the clearing was silent. It's true, a Genti elder whispered. I remember now, my grandmother spoke of the before times. My grandfather, murmured one of the human techs, kept mentioning star friends in his dementia. We thought he was hallucinating. Genetic memory, Vex explained, her skin shifting to teaching blue. Both our species carry traces of our shared past. The artifact unlocks them. But the real bridge, Kai added, pulling her close, isn't the device, it's this. He gestured between them. Connection, understanding, love. Impossible, the matriarch declared, but her color betrayed interest. Is it? Kai challenged. Or is it the most logical evolution of two species that were always meant to understand each other? The silence stretched. Finally, Commander Reeves lowered his weapon. Show us more, he said gruffly, about this cooperation. Together, Vex agreed, her skin radiating hope gold. What followed was hours of revelation as the artifact revealed shared technologies, histories, potential futures. But for Kai and Vex, the most important moment came when the crowds finally dispersed, leaving them alone in their repaired ship. Did we just change the course of two civilizations? Vex asked, settling against him in the pilot's chair. We started something, Kai agreed, nuzzling into her neck. But I think the hard work's just beginning. Good thing we're excellent at working together in close quarters. Very excellent, he murmured, his hands beginning a familiar exploration. Kai, marry me, human way, Genti way, whatever way means forever. He pulled back to look at her, watching the nervous rainbows chase across her skin. Are you asking because of the prophecy? I'm asking because I love you, she said simply. Prophecy just brought us together, everything else is choice. His answer was a kiss that made her skin go nova bright, visible from space. When they broke apart, both were breathless. Yes, he whispered. 1,000 times yes, to forever, to building bridges, to whatever comes next. To us, she agreed. As their ship lifted off from the planet's surface, now renamed Unity in both languages, Two fleets followed in formation rather than pursuit. Below them, the first joint colony was already being planned. Above them, stars spun in ancient patterns, finally witnessing the reunion they'd been waiting for. But inside the ship, universe-changing implications took second place to more immediate concerns. As Vex guided them into hyperspace, Kai was already working on her collar fastenings. Important ambassador duties? She teased, her skin cycling through desire golds. The most important, he confirmed, pulling her from the pilot's seat. Furthering interspecies relations. One diplomatic mission at a time. One perfect mission at a time. As their laughter and light filled the ship, the artifact pulsed gently from the cargo bay, no longer needed to bridge worlds. Its work was done. The bridge was building itself, one touch, one kiss, one shared moment at a time. And it was beautiful. The end.